I started my journalistic career at the old Weekly Mail, which was a forerunner to the Mail and Guardian, and I owe everything I am to the Mail and Guardian. So when I came back in 2002 as editor of the Mail and Guardian, it was a coming home for me, and it was the perfect circle almost in saying that, look, I started here now, I can actually contribute something. As editor of the Mail and Guardian, I had to make really tough decisions. So I would say that my editorship of the Mail and Guardian toughened me, and it steeled me for other roles that I was later to play in journalism, in editing other newspapers. During the time I was editor, it was the time of the Thabo Mbeki presidency, and the big stories at that time was the AIDS denialism. And it was the time when Thabo Mbeki was questioning whether HIV causes AIDS, and he was spreading his very wonky ideas about the disease, and he was denying people who were afflicted by the disease treatment. The MNG took a very strong stand on that. We questioned his stand, we questioned his views, and it did not cause us a lot of popularity with him and his camp. And we did what the MNT does best. We campaigning on the side of justice. I think we played a very big role in the turnaround on AIDS policy on the part of the government. A turnaround that made South Africa a pioneer in AIDS treatment. We now have one of the biggest AIDS rollout of treatment in the whole world. The other big story at that time also, which we broke, was Jacob Zuma's corruption. I remember the date distinctly. It was November 2002. Stefan Brummer, who was investigations editor at the time, called me out onto the balcony, and he told me that we had documentation that showed that Jacob Zuma had taken bribes or been offered bribes by a French arms company, and that there was a person who was going to become a household name later on, and a person by the name of Shapir Sheikh, who was involved in that particular bribe transaction. At the time, Zuma was still a very popular person in the country, in the ANC, and because of the stance that Mbeki was taking on AIDS and various other issues and his aloofness, people were looking to Jacob Zuma as, a hope for the future. It's ironic now when you think about it, but anyway. And to actually out a story like that about the deputy president of the country, deputy president of the governing party. So we had to grit our teeth and say, we journalists, let's do this. We were to be proven correct in coming months, in coming years, as the corruptibility of Jacob Zuma became known, and eventually he was charged. And today, we know exactly who Jacob Zuma was, but the Mail and Guardian was the newspaper that first raised its voice about the unsuitability of Jacob Zuma for presidency. I think media freedom does come under attack from time to time from those in power, not just those in political power, those in corporate power as well, and different parts of society. And fortunately, we in media and we in the society as a whole have been able to fight back. We are very lucky in South Africa, and I think we have one of the freest media environments in the world. And I think it's something that we must celebrate, but not something that we should take for granted. And I think because of where it comes from, the Mail and Guardian has played a pivotal role, a strong role in making sure that that culture of media freedom in South Africa exists. The Mail and Guardian has been very strong on investigative journalism. The Mail and Guardian has been very strong on questioning power, because it has no guilt about its role in the past. It did so under apartheid, and it did so during the transition, and it has done so during democracy. One cannot imagine a South Africa without a Mail and Guardian. One cannot imagine a democratic South Africa without a loud and feisty Mail and Guardian. I think the Mail and Guardian is just one of those institutions that South Africa cannot survive without.